Hello, and welcome to An Awful Lot of Running, a Doctor Who podcast.
What? Uh, I'm sorry. No. I'm cutting the woo this time. I'm cutting the woo this time. What's going on? What? Why are we having so much Doctor Who discourse? Huh? It's just an episode, right? It's just one episode. What? Why is this happening? Jack, explain! Explain, Jack!
It's not just an episode, though, is it, buddy? Uh, we're talking about the reality war today and the reality of the situation. This is our last episode. This is the last episode of the pod. Our last episode, our season one coverage. Oh, sorry, our season two coverage. It's our last one in terms of that. We talk about the reality war today. I'm Jack, one part of the usual hosting team, and joining me as ever, I think it's only fair to say the Poppy to my doctor, because he's a sweet baby face.
Ah,
He's published author Robin Foale.
as always, it is wonderful being on here and being on this journey with you, my doctor, my I'm not even gonna go there that's gonna cause some concerns. But we're not alone as we're here as well as recently with our amazing Belinda. I guess that would make up the dynamic. It's only Star.
No, hold on. Sorry, this
Hold
just
on.
gets
No,
this gets really
fine.
weird.
Hang on.
This gets really weird.
Start. We can save this. It's because your mother.
Difference is my character is perfectly intact.
Yeah. We'll get
Nice
there.
save.
We'll get there. Before we start, obviously there's the massive elephant in the room that hanging over this. This is going to be our last episode of the podcast, and we're not going to get too much into why and what it is there, but it's our last episode talking about things there. But it's also our last episode covering a Ncuti Gatwa story, because surprise, surprise. I say surprise, surprise. I've been saying this was going to happen, and I tell you what, no one is more upset about me being right this time than me. Ncuti left us in this story. And I think before we get into reviewing the episode itself, we wanted to talk about a second just what he has meant to us as a doctor, despite the fact he's only been in the role on our screens for about 18 months. Genuinely, he's meant so much to each of us, and maybe we want to start off just talk about what he meant to us or means to us just as a doctor, and maybe a favorite moment, from one of the episodes. I'm happy to start, or I can go past on to what I need to.
No, by all means. I think
Please go ahead.
you start, Robin, then me. That seems like the right order.
I think Ncuti was an actor coming to the role that I was so excited for, because I already knew his body of work and really loved him in Sex Education. So to see the love, the joy, for lack of a better term, that he brought to the Doctor and as a character just really, really spoke to me. And I have loved his portrayal of the Doctor. I even in season one, I was saying that he was my favorite Doctor, and he's going to always have a very special place in my heart. It really is. And I think I've been going through the stages of grief post Saturday night, and I really think I've hit the depression part of it, because I just keep getting really sad that we're not going to see him resolving storylines which were set up in his era. We're not going to see him back, and he was just such a breath of fresh air to this show, which it sorely needed. I'm going to go for a favorite moment now, which I doubt either of you are going to pick, because it's not a big bombastic one. Okay, it's not his theme playing, which, my goodness, he's one of the best themes in the entire show. For me, it's the moment in Space Babies when I knew he was the Doctor, when he And I'm not even talking about him speaking to Captain Poppy, saying that nobody grows up wrong. It's even earlier in the episode than that. When he and Ruby land, and it's the dinosaurs there, and Ruby steps on the butterfly, it's the moment he picks up that crushed butterfly, blows a bit of regeneration energy into it, and lets it soar. And the smile he gives, it makes me cry now just thinking about it, because it's just, that's the Doctor. That's the Doctor right there. Robin, I'll hand off to you.
I'm still kind of getting over the fact that we've lost such an incredible Doctor. They're all incredible Doctors, but each one of them brings something completely different to the table. And unlike Jack, who had experienced him in sex education, I'd seen clips of his work. I'd seen him in like other little things, but I never was like a full-time sort of watcher of any of his works. So when he first took that stage and he had that smile, we saw that fabulous outfit of his, and he was just remarkable. Just his energy, his charisma, I think not only was it so important that we finally had a person of colour play the Doctor after all these years, and for them to ace it, but also for them to be such an emotional Doctor. Some people have said that he's overly emotional. I think that's not the case. I think he is the right Doctor for this era, and an era where it's so important for this idea of toxic masculinity that others try and force on others to just go. It's okay to cry. It's okay to have these feelings, and I think Ncuti meant so much to so many people, being a Doctor who was very human at times. Very, very human, almost less alien at moments than other incarnations, which I think really gravitated towards him. It's so difficult to pick out a favourite scene, because I've literally just finished watching the episode a second time this episode just to prepare myself for this, so I'm actually a little emotional because I've still got quite choked up by seeing him go. And in terms of just like a favorite, I'm sorry, I'm not prepared to answer that. I'm gonna fully cop out here and just say there's too many to count. I wish I could have one off the top of my head, but I think one scene that really grabbed me, I absolutely love the scene of him dancing with Rogue in the episode Rogue, and just how beautiful that scene is. That just taking a moment to just let the scene breathe, let the body language, let the facial expressions just work it. It's just, I'm clearly just rambling on now, so I'm going to pass it over to Star. Please go
tough.
ahead.
It's really tough, man. It's really tough.
Yeah.
I think the fact that he was the first main Black Doctor. I'm saying main because all respect to Joe Martin, who was the first. He was the main first Black Doctor. He was also the most openly queer TV Doctor. And just seeing that in this current climate, where it feels like things are all going to fucking hell again, to have an icon like the Doctor, openly queer, carefree, full of joy, I think that was the most important thing to see I think he stands very much as a symbol of hope of this current time we are living in. Even though he's now passed the baton on, he's still that symbol because he still created this beautiful Doctor that was needed for right now. And it is devastating that his time was cut short. And I'm starting to get emotional. I've been listening to his regeneration theme on loop for like 3 days.
No.
And also, I had no idea he was going, and I was just sat in that cinema. And then as soon as he said I like this face, I knew I was losing something really, really special, and I was not prepared for it at all. And I am copying out because I cannot pick a specific moment. Because Ncuti had so many brilliant ones. From running on the rooftop, to the butterfly scene, to I'm going to say it, a twist at the end was great. Seeing him dancing and having joy there. All the little fun moments. Boom, his performance, and boom, his speech at the end. I can literally list one thing from every episode, even some of the more lacking ones. They have the good moments. I think the fact that you have this Doctor that no matter what the episode, he has had his the Doctor moment in every single one. I'm going to finish my thoughts with, to quote him, "It has been an absolute joy."
Absolutely. And I think we all, on behalf of the podcast and on behalf of us as Doctor Who fans and individuals, thank you, Ncuti. Thank you so much. And although your time on the show for us was short, your contribution to it has meant so much to us all. So thank you.
Beautifully said.
Right. The reality war. Okay, I'm going to go disappointed dad for a second here now, because I'm going to be honest, I don't have the energy to crash out on this one. I'm sorry people might be expecting it, but this episode, bar my feelings on Ncuti, bar anything else, has managed to do something which I think is a cardinal sin of Doctor Who, right? It has made me feel apathy. It has made me feel apathy to the show and it going forward. I'm just... Look, I'm not angry, so I can't crash out. Russell, I'm just disappointed. Yeah, The Reality War, written by Rusty Davis, directed by Alex Shanji-Bilali. Okay, so where do we start with this one?
I'm just going to go right into it. And Ncuti, you were great. This episode was great. For your performance, at least. But the fucking character assassination of Belinda Chandra.
Yes.
Yeah.
They quite literally shove her in a box for a good portion of the episode.
She's nothing like the character we saw at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, and we're doing away with the format for this, well, the final one, but like at the end, when you know they're all reunited, the Doctor's managed to bring Poppy, but the Doctor scans Poppy's DNA. Belinda says nothing, despite the fact in Robot Revolution she was all, "Don't fucking do that, it's creepy."
Yeah, no, I did not like that at all, because it's just like, we've clearly established this in a previous episode. The Doctor should know this as well. And it really kind of, I understand he needs to double check, but to do that right in front of her as well is just, it's...
This one follows a similar issue that I had with Lucky Day and the Interstellar Song Contest, that there's some shaky politics and just shaky sort of narrative fall throughs here. Like, you know, you look
bluntly,
Yeah.
bluntly, this goes beyond shaky politics. This is downright straight up sexism.
Yes, yeah.
And to be honest, sorry, I keep interrupting you, but I'm like so fucking angry about this because it's not only sexist, you could also say it's mildly transphobic. Because it's setting out the stereotype that a woman must be able to have children. And I fucking hate that.
Mm-hmm.
As a trans person, who I want nothing more than to have my own child, but I can't. And that, on reflection, it really feels like a punch in the face.
Mm-hmm. I hear that. And I do think that, there was a sensitivity reading for things like Lucky Day or sensitivity reading for the song contest, but where the fuck was that for this? With a fandom, let's face it, which has a lot of sexism inherent in it through gatekeeping and just generally, people being misogynistic online. It's so worrying that this is you just baby off your companions. I don't know. It's a funny one, isn't it? But it is, there's some such, people go at the Moffat era for sexism, And I
Let's blew the
at
Moffat
this.
era out for the fucking war.
Yes.
Yeah. It's the thing as well, like all those, like just the previous episode, Wish World, those themes are kind of like expected because of this 1950s aesthetic. And you're like, oh, okay, these are horrible things, but it's like part of the narrative or
it's literally
something.
coming from Conrad's head. Like it's literally coming from Conrad's head. So when we then leave that world and it's still there, you have to go, hang on a second. And again, the character of Conrad receives no repercussions. Which I'm sure.
But Jack, he was sorry.
Oh yeah, and he was sad because he didn't have a father.
Yeah.
So sorry. The implication being that because Conrad didn't have a dad growing up, he turned into a shit.
Yeah, that's clearly it. Yeah. Fuck off. It's like, and that's the thing. Ruby says earlier on the episode, like, "Can I punch him?" And we're all thinking at that moment, yes, please deck him one. I
was ready to punch and scream when she decked him. Like I was ready for it. Like in the Five Doctors, which to be fair, I feel this really unearned because he's trying his best through the episode, and everyone's just shitting on him. Bless him. Like I feel sorry for the Master in the Five Doctors. But the bit when the Brigadier goes, "Nice to see you again," and decks him. Like I wanted that.
Oh, like. I get what they were trying to go for with Ruby, with being like, oh, but she's a nice person, that she tries to sort of forgive other people, but it's still like Conrad was a piece of shit. And in this episode, they're trying to convince us, oh no, there was actually a little bit of a connection, that it was a bit of a false facade. And it's like, I don't believe that for a fucking second. When you have the end of his episode, his first introduction being like, oh God, I hated the taste of your lip gloss and that sort of thing, and being so horrible and having so many heel turns and being like, you had multiple times to be forgiven. And then even in this, it's like, I'm sorry, complete heel turn. Have him be the one who gets eaten by Omega, not the Rani, It's just like,
we'll get to that in a second. Can I? No, I'm going to say something to the episode's credit. I think the first 10-15 minutes are fantastic.
Yes.
I think everything up to the Rani coming down into the unit tower is brilliant. Okay, I think it's great. Doctor, look, I'm sure you both probably heard me audibly rolling my eyes as the Time Hotel cut out started showing on the balcony. But I really like Anita. And I really loved how they used, although it felt like a real sort of ass pull, being like, oh, he jumps through the door into the time hotel. She's there to save him based on that. And I've already got things about that. It led to a really lovely sequence where, we had, as soon as she opened the door, she's like, "Oh, I've been checking on your pals, trying to find you." She opened the door, it was the live chess. I was like, "Oh my God, that's from series 6." And then opens the door, and I think it's such a funny joke that she opens the door and it's Day to the Daleks. Just so we can say we finally had Daleks appear in an episode with Chuti.
Day of the Daleks, but it's a special edition.
Yeah. Oh, I love it though. It
makes me wonder if there was a door to the original.
Probably was.
I'm honestly surprised that we didn't just have that reused footage, or that remade footage rather, of what was it, the 10th Planet? Because they've got that in archive. Just use that, But
I've heard that was all a rumor which was made up, and Richard Talali has since quashed that. But still, they still could have had parts of, because that would have been cool. But no, and I think it's a really lovely thing. And then I really love it as well because we get a bit more to Anita, because she sees the moment you were speaking about praising with the Doctor and Rogue in the episode Rogue, and their dance there, and you see she, if it wasn't clear before, she obviously had a crush on the Doctor or harbored feelings for him after a year. So that felt really that crushed me at the start. I did,
and then solved it with pregnancy.
Yeah, with the head of HR. I'm sorry, he should know better.
Yeah, that is so true. It's like, that's a whole can of worms there. Like, it's wonderful seeing Anita, but my eyes rolled back to the other side of my head when I saw the door appear. I was like, for fuck's sake.
I know it.
This is such an asshole,
isn't it?
It is. Yeah, we both agree. It's like you have one of the best cliffhangers, and I was honestly expecting to be that's how quote unquote Chuti dies in this, that he didn't survive the fall, that he just had enough regeneration to keep him going the whole episode, and they just wouldn't explain it to the end.
Well, see, but here's my thing. Wouldn't it have just reset anyway?
Yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah.
I guess maybe it would have been that he would have gone back into the Wish world and he would have had to have gone through again.
Yeah.
But still, I think the rules are shaky because, technically the time hotel shouldn't be there anyway, because the Doctor and Belinda have been to the future and Earth doesn't exist. The time hotel is on Earth. And that's one thing. This is the issue of a lot of parts of this episode. They just don't make sense, right? But hey, look, Doctor and Anita get to Belinda and John Smith's house. Oh, the chills I had when he comes down those stairs
and he
takes off the coat, and he's in, the Doctor outfit that he's in for the episode. Oh.
Okay, look, I'm being real with you. I haven't found Shuey attractive. I think he is an attractive person, but I hadn't found him attractive personally. But God, the moment he drops that coat, that's what finally sold me.
Hey, he is a very handsome man, and that is such a triumphant scene. Yeah, that's your moment where like, oh, okay, the Doctor's back now. He goes back to Unit Tower. He flaunts his stuff. He is in control. He's bringing back people.
I really love I do like how the Doctor and Belinda are like so like vehemently protecting Poppy, and like they're really like they're against it when people are like that she's not real, which we're doing WandaVision again. I know what I said last week, but we're doing WandaVision again, guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, we get to Unit Tower and we have all the stuff there, everyone remembering, and I'm the Doctor, which is a very cool moment where all the mugs go through all the desks.
Yeah.
Anita, for the rest of the episode, just holds doors open.
Yeah, doorstop.
That she's quite literally doing the job that a £2 thing from B&M or Poundland or whatever could do. You know, I'm sorry, they could have just gone. She could have opened the doors, put the doorstop in, and then fucked off.
Damn it! I've not even thought of that. But oof, yeah.
But yeah, and then obviously we've got everyone in the unit tower. Then everyone comes back,
including Mel on her bike driving into the building.
Sorry, that as well. But also, she's wearing the helmet. Before that, when it activates and she's called back in, she's got the straight hair.
And at some point, she's found time to get a perm.
Is it the helmet? Does the helmet give her a magic perm? So, is it just so that the Rani recognise her in a minute? And by the way, again, this is when it turned a bit wank for me. When the doctor's going, Mel, it's the Rani. And she's like, still alive. And then the Rani reappears. And she's like, Melly, we meet again. I'm like, oh, fuck off. It's the Rani. It's not, it's not bloody Ace meeting Fenric again or something afterwards. It's not like, it's not the Dalek, it's not Davros recognizing Sarah Jane Smith in Journey's End. It's just not got the same fucking road. And I was just going, oh, for fuck's sake. Like,
sorry, but I really did like that.
It just it felt giving more gravitas and more drama to that character than she really deserved. Archie Punjabi did an amazing job. I have to say that again. I wish we had more of Anita Dobson in the role, really. I wish she hadn't just been the sort of subservient thing of the two Ranis. But hey ho, it is what it is, And obviously, here's another issue I have. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Was it ever told to us how the Master actually killed the Time Lords? Like, was it ever actually told to us?
It was just implied that I'm pretty sure it was just implied that he just killed them all. That was it.
Yeah. Apparently, whatever he used to kill them all also made the Doctor and Rani sterile, which we didn't know.
That's what I don't get, because I was under the impression Time Lords were sterile, and that's why they had looms.
Yes, exactly.
This is what I wanted to ask as well.
Sorry, Rob.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you brought this up, because as I was watching that, I wasn't sure whether to be like, wait, is this me and my awful memory of forgetting something? Because I'm sure you brought up looms before, and I was like, oh, is that the reason? But now you're explaining that to me. It's like, okay, no, just
I suppose maybe the implication is that the Master, before he killed everyone in Gallifrey, just went around kicking everyone in the genitals really, really hard. Like, is that what he did?
To be honest, I could see the Master doing that.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't that be really funny? Like, if that we just had that in like a short trip.
That's the next Sasha box set.
Yeah,
but also another thing about this whole thing that does bother me in connection with like the whole Gallifrey's destroy. What the fuck do you mean the Doctor's TARDIS is the last one? One,
yes.
Where the fuck is 14s? Two, where the fuck is that tree that Jodie had? And
exactly, yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't remember it killing any TARDIS
as well.
Yeah. There's plenty of the fuckers out there.
I don't know. It's one of those ones, isn't it, where it's like obvious. It's like, Russell, you say you're a big fan of the Chibnall era. Did you actually watch it? Because
I will say, as wonky as some of this episode gets, there are some little good moments. There are some little good lines, and I really love the Wani's performance in this. I think she really does sell this character for someone who knows nothing about who the Wani is. I think she does some brilliant lines in the short time she's in it. But
she does, but she gets fucked over like pretty.
I would say that she ate, but she got aided.
I've seen people saying that. Oh no, she must still be alive in Omega, but no, that make this Vor. Which, obviously Spyfall reference, but still. Anyhow.
I do want to say, before we move on, I really love this sort of little exchange between her and the Doctor, which is when she's talking about Poppy, when she's doing this kind of like trying to bring the Doctor to her side, and she's saying like she's made of hopes and dreams and wishes, and the Doctor just says, "That's every child." I just thought, oh, I like that. That's a real Doctor moment.
That did hit me, and it also made me sort of go, "Oh, the Rani's kind of used for eugenics." I mean, it makes sense, but fuck, that's not nice.
No, but it's like you can really sense that they're trying to, in their own twisted way, turn the Doctor, try and convince the Doctor. But no, I really liked that sort of sweet line of like how the Doctor turns something that clearly she means in a very malicious way, and it's like, no, actually, that's something so beautiful about it. And I think that's little lines like that where they really try and sell the idea of Poppy being their daughter and someone who they're trying to protect in this episode. And even though it gets a little bit dodgy in places, I think the acting of them makes it believable that they do care about this child, that they would do anything like any parent to protect their child.
You know, on the Poppy thing, there's thoughts on the occurred to me now, but thinking back to the likes of the Doctor's daughter, I think it should have been written more like that, where the Doctor's hesitant about the daughter. But instead of ending with the acceptance, or just shoving onto Belinda because well, who the fuck else is going to take her? Just save Poppy. I shove her off to the people that adopt. give her to Ruby's parents with the wishes. Yeah, it would make more sense because they do fostering.
I know. I will say I love the Doctor and Ruby's reintroduction to each other in this. It's really sweet. You really feel the love between them there, which is really, really lovely. And then obviously all the stuff happens with the Rani, and she fucks off and sends the bone beasts to them, which I don't quite understand the bone beasts.
No, they're kind of just. It feels like they're just there to do the big unit battle, which honestly is kind of fucking cool. I love that.
I love that battle. It went full on Power Rangers.
I did love. It did make me think in a way. I was like, they're kind of doing the purpose of the Reapers from Valor's Day. That's all right. But then I did like the tower, how they were fighting. They were shooting from the galvanic beam on one side and the other one on the other side. And I was like, one of these bone beasts only has to just go to the side where the cannons can't get them. And luckily they thought of that because then they turned.
It's got a steering wheel. It's got like a full on like.
I genuinely thought it was just going to turn to a full on airship.
I did as well.
It unfolds and it's the Valley.
Right, okay. What if it turned into a Megazord? That's what.
That's the thing. Like when I was saying earlier, it went full on Power Rangers of like that kind of base, like the way that the consoles look and like the guns, and it's just like I wanted that Megazord so badly.
So the Doctor has Susan Triad come up with a zero room, classic Who reference right there. There you go, the zero room. Yeah. He has to work on one, and then they plot Belinda and Poppy in there for about 20 minutes of the episode.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, that there's obviously there's the rumors and stuff, and there's things that might be true and might not be true. I'm not saying that Belinda was a late addition to the arc of the series and they had to sort of scramble and sort things, but I feel like this is a big factor that could kind of prove that point, because while she sits in a room, Ruby gets a Stolen Earth callback with fucking Project Indigo. Did you pick up on that, Robin?
Yeah.
I did, and it was just like I get it because on one hand,
did you get it on your first watch or your second?
My second watch, I will admit.
Yeah, there it is.
There we go. Hey, come on, I got it though. Give me some credit, Star. Come on. But no, it's like we've established a lot of stuff with Ruby, and so it makes sense to kind of complete that storyline. But to do that by taking away from another character's purpose, a character who is so so like I'm trying to think of the right word. Like there's
Fundamental to the series.
fundamental,
The series.
definitely fundamental, but someone who's like so strong, someone who doesn't take the Doctor's crap. Like
She's
compare
the Donna archetype.
compare her to her first appearance in Robot Revolution, how she acted in that and how she was not going to put up with the Doctor's crap. And then this, where I felt like some of her feistiness had definitely gone. And I noticed it a lot more my second watch, where I was like, okay, I'm starting to pick up these things that I missed the first time, and I don't like it. You know, it's sad to see a character sort of reduced to a single woe, and it's not a woe that suits the
It's not a
characterization.
role that the character even wanted.
No, no.
Like this is all forced upon her. Like she has no choice in this. This just happened to wish, and now for the sake of plot, she has to play along with it, and she's just like, yeah, okay, I accept this.
Yeah, it's just
And it's so out of
not the
character.
same. It's not the same character we saw. I would argue the same character we saw in episodes 1 to 3 of the series. I'd say she started changing when we got to Storing the Engine, and kind of also Poppy doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
No.
that makes like no sense whatsoever. Why Poppy's just there and storing the engine. It's just like what?
Well, in this as well, Poppy doesn't make sense. It's such a weird vehicle to lead to the Doctor's regeneration, and it just again, it screams reshoots when we get back to Unit Tower after everything, and I'll go into that in a bit. But my goodness, let's get back to the episode itself proper, okay? So.
Yeah.
You know, Ruby gets Project Indigo. They're like, don't press the yellow button. She presses the yellow button. She's like, when I get up there, can I punch Conrad? And they all go, yes. Cool. The Doctor. People give Doctor Who shit for all the stuff that the sonic screwdriver can do. But he hacked the Rani's code. And she said before that he's half a mile away. From half a mile, he can use the sonic to cool her little scooter down to him. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't mind it that much because it's a fucking cool scene when he jumps on, the theme plays, and he's flying through the bit where he goes through the bone beast's like rib cage. I was like, dude, that's so cool. And then crash through the. It was giving End of Time Part 2.
It was very Flash Gordon, which I loved as well. Just yeah, it's such a cool scene. I imagine that was a great scene to see on the big screen in the cinema as well, Star.
Yeah, no, it was. But that does lead us into the scene where obviously the Doctor's with the Rani, and I'll get to the Ruby and Conrad thing in a minute because I have
Can I say
some
one thing?
opinions.
Can I say one thing about another just positive that as wonderful as that bit is, and you have the Doctor's theme, which I think is one of the best Doctor Who things we've ever had. And I urge you now that if you're listening to this and you just have like a long coat or a outfit that you feel doctory in, put it on. If you're able to, go to London, get on the tube, particularly the Jubilee line, put that on your headphones and let that play as you're holding, because you feel amazing. So with a and I love it. And they have that playing and it cuts to Belinda and Poppy in the box, and it's just silence. That did make me laugh a bit.
It didn't make me laugh so much as like it kind of added home like the tension that was building up, like the stakes. Like I knew what they were going for it, and it is quite the jar and jump. But for me, I think it works quite well actually. I also love the fact that apparently when Shooty did that, he thought himself not as riding a broomstick or not Flash Gordon. He imagined himself as like Green Goblin riding it, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's amazing!"
That's cool, guys. I didn't know that. That's a lovely little detail. That's really
yeah.
cool. Okay, so he gets up there. Ruby obviously beams him with Project Indigo. Conrad's like, "Do you really think I wouldn't be prepared for this?" I'm like, well,
It makes no sense because how the fuck would you know since she was
Yeah.
about to teleport in?
Shouldn't he have still been doing like his, and Doctor Who was a twat face sort of like whatever thing that he's going on about there, and then obviously the two Ranis bring back. I can't say it's Omega, even though Omega has changed every time he's come back. Personally, I would have loved it if they'd opened up that door and it'd been Peter Davison that stepped out. I think that would have been really
That would have
funny.
been really cool. That would have been
How
really
cool would that have been?
But no, we have to get the giant CGI monster.
We
Who,
have
by
to
the
get
way, I was watching
a big
reactions.
skull baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was watching reaction videos for the episode because that's it. We all know I do this by this point, but I was watching reaction videos for it. Two of them. Now, if I had a nickel, two of them pointed out, why does Omega have such a fat ass?
It's because Shooty Gat is in the episode. That's why.
Okay, here's my thing. When you first saw the hand come out and it was like those gnarled claws, did you for a split second think, oh, they've brought back Sutek? It's Sutek coming around as a twist reveal. Really?
I very straight away just went, oh, for fuck's sake, they've done what I was worried about. He's going to be a big kaiju-esque thing, but he wasn't even kaiju level. It wasn't even kaiju level.
No, he came out of the hole, got his butt stuck, and then got shot up.
No. He came out the hole, ate Mother, and then all four are Two Ronnie's joke.
I will admit, I laughed.
Yeah.
I laughed at that as well. I thought
yeah. See, we all laughed. Yeah,
it's not the appropriate time, but at the same time.
But it also leads to a questionable thing about what it changes what they've established by generation is, because like Mrs. Flood should eventually turn into that Rani who then that happens there, but she goes off, presumably would have her own adventures again, and by generation it's not, Russell said it would be explained. This is not really. It's like, oh, it's how, when there's a low population of Time Lords they can split off. No, because I don't know, because that then implies that they're two separate beings. But no, it was established, we were told that 15 was after 14 had his therapy, that essentially he'd go down the time stream and appear in the Giggle based on what happened there. But this leads to believe that's not the case. It's very, very weird, very strange.
It also takes away from the bi-generation, because we're led to believe that bi-generation is meant to be something that's meant to be this real legacy type thing, this kind of, for better term, this kind of Super Saiyan mythology. And then we've had it twice now in less than a couple of years. It does take away from it.
Look, if the show comes back, presumably it'll be 2027 before that happens, if not later.
It'll definitely be later.
Please never touch bi-generation again. Just leave it now, okay?
The thing
Even
is,
better when the show comes back, just have new people.
Yes, completely. Because we have. This has been the second time now in a row that both these seasons have had endings that the vast majority of people have really disliked, from casual fans to big fans. And you've got to be so careful about keeping the fan base, because if you're not pleasing casuals or super fans, eventually they're going to run out of patience. And the thing is, these two seasons, for the most part, have been absolute bops. We've had phenomenal episodes. We on the podcast have given multiple, 9 out of 10s, 10 out of 10s for things.
Yeah.
And some of them have been for brand new writers to Doctor Who who've done fantastic work. And if we could have a season of that, someone there to sort of help underline the overall plot, but this new blood for different types of stories and like keep that going. There's still a demand for Doctor Who. We still love it. But like with any fan base, like of any story, you want a satisfying conclusion. Because when you know the ending is shit, and you know that the things building up to an ending is shit, especially anything like, let's just call it the Bad Wolf connections, because that's been what they've established back in Eccleston season 1. It's what they've gone for ever since, with the cracks in the walls, the fallen snowflakes, whatever you want to call it. We love those connections, but there's got to be a satisfying conclusion. Because going back, rewatching episodes and being like, I know the conclusion to this, and this makes no goddamn sense. It tarnishes the story. And that's awful.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally agree. And I think it sort of speaks to me. My biggest problem with this era of Doctor Who, it's become indicative with sniffing its own farts and reheating its own nachos. And that's the issue. And that's, look, we'll get there when we get to the very end of the episode, but that really is the biggest issue. And we need new blood. And I said that time and time again. Let's speed through now. So obviously, Omega eats the Rani, and then the Doctor shoots him with the fucking Vindicator. What?
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, like it's a proton pack, yeah, which is so metal, but also I was just like, oh, for fuck's sake. Like, come on.
But Jack, don't you love the fact that we take out Omega in less than 5 minutes? I'm pretty sure. Like, he doesn't even.
But that's the thing. Omega comes in, instantly sort of like basically cancels out the Rani, and then gets fucked off himself.
Yeah.
It's just shit,
and
to
mention, this is all happening at the halfway through the episode mark.
Yeah.
We are halfway through the episode, and the rest is just.
And this
tragedy.
Is the thing. This is the thing. It's about 40 minutes in.
30 minutes in, yeah.
30, 40 minutes in, yeah. Around this time this happened, and we get the final, going into the end of things. This is why I'm very much in the camp, and certainly what I believe and what I've heard from other people, that Ncuti leaving was a late decision based on Disney dragging their feet. But we'll cover that later, I'm sure. We'll cover that bit instead. Let's get through the rest of the episode quick now, okay? So they've beaten the Rani, they've beaten Sutekh. Everything's resetting. The world's going back to it was. Ruby has given Conrad a fucking happy ending, and there are glitches
Which
through.
is completely fucking bullshit.
Absolutely. Yeah. Total bullshit, yeah. Notice now, though, okay? When they get back to Unit Tower, we see Rose for a fucking split second, who, by the way, is like, oh, at least she's not just hanging around, standing around holding an iPad, but she also is there for a split second and doesn't appear again for the rest of the episode.
Yeah, no, she was just used to be like, oh look, Conrad's transphobic.
Yeah, which look, I think is good in a way, because they were very much playing up with the design of the Doctor Who books that he was reading. They were playing up, him being like a certain cunt author that I'm not going to give any more space to. But I mean, you're saying the quiet part out loud. We pretty much knew it was going to be like that. Let's face it. We go back to the tower, and then the Doctor and Belinda, Ruby and Poppy enter the TARDIS, which is I do like the scene, and it does really hit when Ruby's sort of looking on at the Belinda and the Doctor, and almost she's like, "Oh, I'm the third wheel here," and I was hoping at this point that we were setting up for, if there was a series 3 and everything I thought was wrong, everything I thought before was wrong, and we'd be setting up for series 3, and this would be our TARDIS team here. But no, Ruby's getting the vibe of, oh no, there's something wrong here. And I love the shot of the Doctor and Belinda passing Poppy's coat back and forth to each other, and folding it and it getting smaller and smaller, and then Ruby looks behind and Poppy's gone. It's
Well, I didn't like the plot line. That was just so tragic.
Howling stuff. Oh, and this episode's got problems, but there's little just moments like that where, and seeing like Millie Gibson as well, again, phenomenal actress. And you can tell that she's absolutely broken by this. The only person who realizes, and what makes this even like stronger as well, like not only is it a beautiful, wonderful piece of storytelling told for us through show, not tell, but then immediately afterwards, you can see that the Doctor has those little moments of doubts in his eyes, like the ways that he kind of looks at her as if second guessing, like, was there a kid? Was there not?
And I've seen people
Oh.
read into that as if he does actually remember, but he's doing it to save Belinda and the pain of it, which I think is one thing, but then it also is a bit shaky, but it's doctory in a way, I suppose.
And I also just say I love the use of hopefully, God, this means it's going to be released, but I love the Series 10 soundtrack.
I know.
Just I hope there'd be stars playing. I'm just like, oh, Murray, you beautiful bastard.
I will say, I wish Ruby got a bit more of a send off in this. I wish Belinda got a better send off in this as well. Really, I think they've been two really strong companions that we're not going to see more of.
I wish that every 15th Doctor companion wasn't thrown off with a baby in some fucking regard.
Yes, and that hurt me as well. The fact that they give the now normal baby God of Wishes or Desiderium, yeah. It's like, oh, I'm never going to be able to find out where they got him from. I'm like, wait, I'm sorry. Are you telling me that we've left a bunch of children as ducks? The father is an owl and the mum is a bunch of violets. We're not going to fix that. Because that just felt a bit,
Oh, but Jack, it wouldn't fit in this very, very strong plot we have.
Yeah. So then, obviously, okay, here's the thing. I realized I was right about Shooty leaving the second this stuff started with Poppy. So I went, oh, this is going to be the vehicle now. Even despite the fact, Colonel Ibrahim shouts out, we have the time window, and maybe they could have done something with that. I don't know. I knew this was going to be the thing, which got rid of Shooty.
As soon as he headed into the TARDIS alone, there was a sudden feeling of dread.
Mm-hmm. And it was you said it yourself, it was confirmed later when he said, oh, I really love this face.
Oh,
Robin,
yeah.
Was that it when it hit you, or when did it get you? When did you realize?
No, the minute he said that about the face, it's like a Doctor doesn't say that unless they're going to move on, and it's like, no, don't go. I'm immediately when that happened, and it happened even more a bit later on, but immediately I just thought the Batman meme of him holding his parents as they disappeared, like, don't go.
Oh, I know. But what I will say is, this makes no sense that this happened in the episode, and it's totally happened in the reshoots. It's the best part of the episode.
Yes.
When he's in the TARDIS and he says, I was the best, and we just hear. I didn't expect it. Oh, so literally, my ceiling is fucked. I did a Josh Carr. I jumped through because I was the second I had, maybe the best male, let's say. And Jodie, I cried.
I could almost forgive this entire episode for this alone. Almost.
How was the audience reaction in cinema?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Though I will say the cinema reactions are a little odd, because with this bit, they were cheering. People were happy. There was a kid that was dressed like 13. Had the totally wrong screwdriver, but I'll give him points for trying. But there was a kid dressed 13. I can't imagine how delighted that kid must have been. And the general audience, like this whole thing, it was very all over the place because we got laughs, and all these different things. Hell, the whole episode, despite all its flaws, got a standing ovation.
Yeah, I do think
Mm.
that does. I think I do. I really do think it. It helps watching something like that in the cinema. I really think it does, because me watching it at home, it's not the same experience. Like, I don't think I would have the love for Space Babies that I have without watching it. When I saw it.
Mm.
And I know people that really like Empire of Death. Despite my personal feelings, which people who have listened to the podcast will know, which is why I'll be happy not to talk about that again going forward. Yeah, but no, this scene, it's perfect. It's distilled perfection. It's a beautiful thing. Not only do we get Jodie handing off to Shooty, something we should have had. There should have been, even for a second in the giggle, her face flashing up before turning into Shooty. There should have been a moment of the torch being passed there. We get it here now before Shooty launches it into the sun. It's and it's
say, I love the dig at Tennant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really it's so self-aware. But then we get the very end of this episode. Again, we'll get there. But
I love the fact that these are two doctors as well who like each other. They're not like arguing, they're not trying to have jabs at each other. They generally like each other. I like the fact that it's actually Jodie who's like go out with a smile, and that kind of adds to the fact that she eventually goes out with a smile. I'm like, that's great. I love that. And when I saw her for the first time,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Star, this is your baby. You say it.
Thank you. Fucking Tasman in the year of our Lord 2025. In the cinema, no less.
Absolutely confirming, which people should have known for the most part. It was love. It was romantic. It was reciprocated love.
I cried so much. I was so
bless.
I mean, I was happy because I'm crying now. I was happy just to see Jodie, because Jodie just means so fucking much to me, and I've gained a lot more respect for her the last few years. Just from rewatching her episodes and just reading all her stories and comics and books and stuff. And it's just seeing her back and then getting something I was so desperately needing. I'd like said, I could almost forgive this entire episode just for that. I could almost do it.
Yeah, I know. But then we get everything after that.
Oh, then we get the this is where I am going to turn to my little chart that I've been making to compare different seasons, season 15s of two different shows. Let's see. We have rushed ending due to changes. Let's see. Supernatural Doctor Who, correct. Character assassination, Dean Winchester and Belinda, yeah. The worst guy you know gets to live. God and Conrad. Which is really funny considering. And then you get fucking Super Hell.
Yeah. And obviously, so I will say the shots of the Doctor sort of summoning the regeneration energy and channeling it into the TARDIS are very cool. I just don't like how they've done regeneration energy in this era. I think they had it down so well in the Whittaker era. Like there's shots in Power of the Doctor with the regenerations that happen in that are just so beautiful. Just absolutely gorgeous. And I see regeneration now in this era, and I said it, way back in our review of the Interstellar Song Contest. It looks like wispy piss.
I will agree with you on the bit where he's channeling into the TARDIS. But upon so many rewatches of his regeneration scene when he explodes and it's like different beams everywhere, I don't know. I really liked that. I thought that was nice.
Yeah, but
I think he
does blow up. But... He blows up so many planets like Starkiller Base in that moment. So
we don't talk about that. It was still kind of beautiful because I think, jumping ahead, but the fact he explodes and it kind of looks like a star while Joy is around.
Yeah. The music as well that plays.
Yeah,
Star
it's
Doctor.
beautiful. It's gorgeous. Don't make her think about the music, Robin. Don't make her think about the music. She's
I'm
had that
already
too
thinking
much.
about the
So.
music. I'm gonna stick
But
to it
look,
as we
look,
speak.
here we go. Look, TARDIS lands in Belinda's backyard. It turns out that they've changed history now. So now Belinda was always trying to get back to her daughter Poppy, that is not the Doctor's daughter. She's just
It's a random bloke that we filled in just so Belinda can still be a mom.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also, what the fuck was the point of Susan in this series?
Well, you see, Jack, the point of her was
Reshoots. They changed the ending. That's what happened. It's Disney's fault. Fuck you, Disney. Yeah, and then obviously we get the Doctor saying goodbye to her and saying that, you might see me again, just not with this face. And it's like, oh boy, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes into the TARDIS. For once, he has the foresight to open the fucking doors. He looks out. Oh, the star, it's joy. Joy to the world. Thank you for making us think of that episode again, Doctor.
I actually really like the fact that the TARDIS lights are switching off as he's leaving. I think that's a really nice touch. Like the TARDIS knows it's kind of leading him off. The music's playing, and I think that's some really great visuals, some really great audio. And it still gets to me. It really does. Like I don't think I was ready quite the first time, but the second time it hit hard.
I think the first time I was still in that state of sort of denial.
Yeah, same.
I've rewatched that scene times after, because God knows BBC bloody Doctor Who put it out on their fucking socials pretty much as soon as the episode aired. But so I've watched that a few times, and I watch it now and I cry. I do still think it's so rushed, and I think it should have been. I feel like the 10th Doctor, the End of Time Part 2, like Ncuti could have done so much more. And I think he's fantastic in the scene, joy to the world, and it's been an absolute joy, and he regenerates there, sort of hanging off, levitating, which I'm not a big fan of that part. I think the actual visuals look beautiful, apart from the wispy piss around. And then here's the biggest problem of the episode. Okay. I'm going to say something now. I'm a big fan of Billie Piper. I think she's one of the best, hardest working director, actor, writers in this country right now. And I think her being cast as the Doctor would be a fantastic get for the show, get for things going forward. If she hadn't have cut her teeth on this show 20 years ago, we're just redoing what we did with the 14th Doctor. And I'm sorry, I'm cynical enough to go, this was a last minute ass pull. This is Russell calling in a favor from Billy to cover something. And here's the thing, to generate some marvelous content. Marvelous. Because look, not only does this do a disservice to Ncuti here, we're already looking at it being a bit shaky about whether Doctor Who actually is going to continue. Because look, we hadn't reported that Bad Wolf are going to carry on, the BBC are going to carry on without Disney. But Ncuti's probably, again, I'm speaking in hypotheticals now, but the read we get is that Ncuti left because he's getting these opportunities and he couldn't wait. He couldn't sit around and wait for Series 3 to start filming, because he's getting these opportunities. And I don't begrudge him for that at all.
Oh, 100%. Like, the guy's an amazing talent. He needs to use this as a springboard for his career, and we respect that. Yeah.
But and this is the issue now. If I reckon, and it's kind of been confirmed by some things I've heard here and there, he was going to do Series 3. He would have been contracted to do Series 3 or Season 3, and then he would have gone off there. We would have had the Susan stuff there. We would have had a resolution to Rogue, which at this point now, he probably is stuck in super hell forever.
The season 15 curse.
Yeah. And we'd have an actual sort of resolution to the 15th Doctor that would be great. We'd have Susan, we'd have a Dalek episode, we do all the stuff we'd want. But as we're left, I compare it to the Ninth Doctor. When the Ninth Doctor leaves at the end of series 1, we feel sad because we've known him for 13 episodes, but we know him, and we feel like it's been a complete arc. Ncuti going at this point with 18 episodes feels like, I'm going to say, it feels like the Doctor leaving after the long game. You know?
Yeah. I hadn't thought of it like that, but that's a really interesting comparison because I think it was a really beautiful send-off for Ncuti, but definitely too soon. It does feel like he's
too soon.
He's left he's left during the sequel to the first film, and now he's not coming back for the third one, effectively. And
we don't even know if we're getting the third one. That's the thing, you know? And again, I just think it does such a disservice to him for it to be the final note of this, which should have been a fade to black or fade to white, in my opinion. Just that's it. You know, here it's left on a cliffhanger. We don't know who the next Doctor is. And it also gives some wiggle room that it's future-proofing the show in a way, isn't it? Where it's going that, look, if Russell doesn't carry on, someone else can carry on from this point. You can have books, you can have Big Finish, you can have anything which carries on the legacy of the show. By doing this, which I'm sorry, I can only look at it with it being incredibly shallow and callous. Not only does it undermine Ncuti, it really just puts a sour taste in so many fans' mouths. You know, and again, in what's supposed to be this bold new era. Oh, if you've never seen Doctor Who before, this is an era of you. Marvelous, wonderful. When we're just doing the set, you know, if we're bringing shit back from 20 years ago again. I mean, you've already brought back Sutek, the Rani, Omega. Who's this for? Because no one's happy.
And the thing is, at this point, I think we need to clarify as well. We have no hate for Billie Piper. Billie Piper is.
Oh no! I literally prefaced this by saying I think she's one of the best actors in Britain right now.
No, and I think there's a lot of people who are using this as an excuse to harp on her, which I hate because I love her. I think she was an amazing first companion for a new era. She's up there as, honestly, on a rewatch of her stuff, one of my favorites. I think she does so brilliant, and so seeing her at the end of this, it was just like, in a moment that I should feel happy, excitement, if it was finding out that she would appear as a companion in the style of Donna Noble returning with the return of David Tennant, it's kind of like, oh, cool, that makes sense. But when it's like, wait, no, they are, but they're not going to be the Doctor or something, and it's like, and that just leaves a very, instead of a moment where you feel excitement or something triumphant, you're instead feeling confused, and that's not a good thing to end an episode on, like that mixed emotions.
I think this also does a disservice to Billie, because one, she's been put in this position which, you know, from our point of view, doesn't look good, and no hate towards her. This is a job. She's just doing a job. But also, there's a potential that she will not get a job out of this.
Yeah, but I don't think it matters to Billie either way. I very much think she's been brought in as a bit of stunt casting to, again, generate some content. Marvelous. Generate some content and maybe marvelous. It'll be great for the show, and people will be talking about it. It'll be recommissioned with a third series. Marvelous. But look, I don't even agree with people like being so virulently attacking Russell or production team. I genuinely think they're trying to make the best Doctor they can. I just think this is a bit of a shallow decision at the end here. It's just what it is. And
It just bookmarks Shooty between Pennant era and Nostalgia Bait.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And look, okay, I'm going to get my soapbox very quickly now because we have a very extensive listener email section at Space for the Six Telegraph. I'm going to get my soapbox a second, okay? The discourse and just general asshole behavior I've seen from so many people when talking about this episode, bashing other people for liking it, bashing people for disliking it. I'm sorry, it's an episode of TV, guys. This is what makes. I feel like Tegan in Resurrection of the Dalek Star. This is a reference you'll get.
Sorry, hang on. Let me get my clapping seal on.
Okay, go on. It's not fun anymore. To be like this. And look, we can all have opinions on an episode of television. Again, it's an episode of fucking television. It's not life or death shit. We can have these opinions and we can just respect other people. So come on. Stop being so fucking disgusting. This is where I am going to get angry with people. Stop being so fucking disgusting and just respect other people's opinions on a fucking piece of media. There. Let's rate the episode and let's get to that section, okay? Right.
I'm going to take the first hit. Middle of the road, 5 out of 10. And it's a 5 only for Jodie, pretty much.
Yeah.
Jodie and the music.
You know what?
The first 10 minutes.
Yeah. Look, Start. I'm going to agree with you. I think this, as an episode, as a whole, is an improvement on Empire of Death. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I parts of this I really enjoy. There's not many parts of Empire of Death I really like that much. I really like this. I'd give it a 5 out of 10 as well. But again, Jodie's doing a lot of heavy lifting. Shooty's doing a lot of heavy lifting here, personally.
I've definitely been on a bit of a seesaw of this. I think the first time I saw it, I kind of had a bit of stars in my eyes. I still clung on to that very much that Homer Simpson of it's still good, and then started to lose a bit of the paint on the walls, started to see the mode, it's still good. Talking about it now, doing a second watch before the episode, and just like, oh no. Oh no, it's not as good as I hoped. I mean, I never weighted it that high in the first place. I merely said online that, you know what? I'm still absorbing it. I enjoyed it mostly. I still think there's a lot of moments to enjoy. There's also some moments that are very awkward. Some moments that are just more than awkward, especially upon further talking about them and just giving it a second watch, letting that excitement for Doctor Who sort of watching a new episode go away and just be like, okay, no, this is some wanky parts. I think a 5 out of 10 is actually very suitable. That kind of right in the middle mark. I think that's a good one.
Okay. That's our last episode of this season that we're going to review. And
last episode of this too.
Yeah.
I will say, while the finale may not have been as great as we hoped, I'm going to just take a moment to say how, while this era has had a load of ups and downs, I joined in with you guys just before Space Babies, and this whole era has meant a lot to me to be part of this podcast, of part of something I love, to be with my best friends, talking about Doctor Who, occasionally dunking on it, looking at U-Time Flight, and just having fucking fun. And thank you for letting me hop on with this mad journey.
Always. We love you, Star. You're always welcome.
Yeah. Well, look, when we started this 4 years ago, Robin, we, I'm going to get emotional here now. I'm just going to look. Let's go into the listener section. Okay, let's go for that. Right, it's time for our space-time telegraph. With it being our last episode, you can imagine we've got a lot of responses regarding that. I'm going to focus quickly on the ones for the the actual podcast it's not the podcast itself, sorry, the actual episode. I'm getting emotional and losing my track
Oh,
of thought,
mate, it's
sorry.
okay.
You know, and I'm going to do something uncharacteristic here as well. I'm going to allow some of these to be read by yourselves because it's our last one. Let's change things up a bit. Okay. So, Star, I'll allow you to cover all the ones within the Time Siren server on the An Awful Lot of Running channel. We'll do that one first. All right.
Okay. So, Time Siren stuff. Ooh, it's weird getting to do this bit. This will be good practice for when I do my own podcast coming soon. So we start with James York, the queer doctor. Shocking and making us wish Shooty stayed. I think the reactions are showing how toxic our fandom can be. Absolutely. Leaks spoiling and the harsh comments and negativity towards the program has made it difficult to be happy about an era that could have been amazing. Still, this is greatest send-off for Shooty, and he will be very much missed. Oh, I'm in here because I posted the. What? I'm going to shout myself out because when I made the cover for this episode, this is what I looked like. It'll be on the screen for the YouTube video. Then moving on to, I hope I'm not missing anyone because this bit is tricky because you have to read everything. I think the next one is Andrew Walker. Hello, you. So first of all, he wants to say his name's Andrew and not Tom Fapper. So Tom Fapper has this to say. I haven't liked the season finale since 2017, and I was really hoping this would be the one to break the streak. And I did have a lot of fun watching this in the cinema, and it had a lot of great moments. I did really like the last scene and how 15 gave his life to save a baby, connecting back to his first story. But ultimately, it did not break the streak for me. It tried to be a big ensemble story, but severely underused the characters, some of who were basically background dressing. I think Mrs. Flood, who was a really pointless character personally, and Belinda's character really got lost somewhere. Also, another finale which gathers the main characters in Unit HQ to sum up the arcs. Come on, Russell, we've seen better from you. I am curious about what's next and how that's handled, but afterwards, I really think the show needs to get out of RTD's shadow. I'll definitely miss 15, and I can't wait to see what the expanded universe does with him. Lots of Daleks. Good luck with what you guys have coming next. Oh, thank you. That wasn't too long, don't worry. We've had worse. Looking at Thomas' speech. And then we scroll some more. We really like chatting in this channel.
There's a lot of shit posting that happens there.
This is where I'm gonna. This is Cat being Thomas Beach.
Oh, so, here we go.
Yeah,
enemy of the podcast.
Yes, enemy of the podcast. Surprise, bitch! I'm reading it this time. I can be unfair to Doctor Who sometimes, but nevertheless, I try as hard as I can to keep an open mind. The worst thing this show can do is make me feel apathetic, and unfortunately, after the last 2 years, it's got there for me with this episode. A lot of people, when an episode isn't well received, run to, why are we being all so negative? But unfortunately, that's the nature of consuming art. You've got to experience criticism. Criticism is not a playground insult that needs to be shut down. I'm going to address the most pertinent point for me. The one I feel like I can talk about the best. As much as the Doctor Who fandom talks about feisty, not like other girls' companions, Belinda had something to her that made her unique, and I latched on to that. To see her in Wishworld, first of all, I felt like I was watching a horror film. Is Conrad's dystopia, it's twisted, it's bigoted, it's degrading to those who are perceived inferior by Conrad. We see Belinda and the Doctor distorted into these roles in a horror story being made of the woman in Conrad's world. They must grow up to be good little girls, good little wives, and good little mothers. Motherhood is not a dirty word whatsoever. It absolutely isn't. I may have actually liked to see a companion take on that arc, but Belinda as a character expresses no desire whatsoever for this. She opposes the Doctor's interference in her life at every step, is fiercely independent, and the conclusion to her story is to be subjugated by the mind of a bigot, to have the Doctor's child, and to be a stay-at-home mother. The story concludes with the Doctor killing himself to rewrite Belinda's life into the motherhood of a hypothetical child at the end of the episode. From the very start of the episode to the end, there is nothing that remains of Belinda's character except woman and mother. I have a lot more to say on this, and I would really like to elaborate, but alas, word count. Thank you for respecting the word count. So the 15th Doctor kills himself to ensure Poppy, the captain baby of the farting spaceship from episode 1, becomes his companion's biological child. He never meets Susan, and in fact, any payoff on that front was cut from the episode. Omega, the Time Lord who had famously had no body and existed only as a consciousness, is a giant CGI corpse that eats the Rani. The 15th Doctor then uses a gun to kill him. Rose Noble experiences oppression, then disappears. Shirley experiences oppression, then disappears. Conrad is blessed with a happy life as still a fascist, but he works in a pub now. The episode grinds to a halt in order for the Rani to explain why the Time Lords can only fuck for pleasure now, seemingly a newly invented consequence of the Timeless Children. Why does she want to rebuild Gallifrey? Who fucking knows? Where's Mrs. Flood gone? Who's the boss? Who cares? And then, to end the episode, RTD's personal friend and companion from series 1 and 2 returns to the show to generate content in a bet to boost ratings, bookmarking the show's first mainline Black Doctor with 2 white actors from his inner circle. To be one of the biggest, if not the biggest player in British television sphere, and to behave and write in that way that Russell T Davies does is incomprehensible. I've had experienced TV crews say to me that they have had no hope of a job on the show because they weren't friends with anyone on set. This decision really encapsulates that attitude, and it's not dramatic to say that choices like these have consequences, and those consequences are slowly killing the UK's TV industry. I hope Brussels is pleased that I have generated this content. I'm exhausted. Cat. P.S. By podcast.
Oh.
I've only had more to say. Oh my god, I have more to say. I'm Jack. I'm so sorry for every time. This is a hard job. Don't give me that smug face.
He's smugging.
Go to Jackie's one.
Sorry. Don't give me the Russell T Davies face. Anyway, hello, Jackie Smith. Jackie Smith says, Shooty deserved so much better. For the second person of colour and first openly queer actor to play the titular role, Shooty was marketed as a fresh face for a new era. Doctor Who post 60th was going to be fresh and new and exciting once again, free from the burdens of overwhelming continuity and constant nostalgia bait. But that's not what we got. Instead, we had Russell T Davies desperately scraping at Classic Who and his own original era in the hopes of generating viral hits with each new plot twist. This was cynical, this was heartless, and this was so artificial that half the scripts and plots felt like ChatGPT had regurgitated them out just before the deadline. I'm genuinely more excited for fan content and for fan films and fan audios in the Whoniverse. At least those feel like they want to tell me new stories and that respect this franchise and its history for more than just easy retweets.
Red Twilight's coming this year.
2 more Star Doctor episodes coming this year. Robin, your turn. Oh, wait.
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, it's
I meant about the doctors. Where's your doctor?
I'm following that up. I'm sorry, Star. Would you give me a moment? Star? You know, I know you've got yourself the busy task of answering questions here, but here's me trying to work out how I'm going to fit in my own fan doctor one day. Okay, I don't have any ideas.
Bidding for Robin's fan doctor begins now. It will start off with 50p. 50p. Do I see?
I see £2 at the back.
Yeah.
But no. I mean, what are the chances? What are the chances?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. Right. Robin.
Hello.
Would you like to read the Twitter responses this week?
Oh, I would love to do that. Let me.
There's some lovely ones from lovely friends. So I'm being very, very nice letting you read.
No, we have gotten some fantastic responses over on the Hellscape, which, oh my God, it's going to be so lovely to not have to read from the Hellscape again. Um, first of all, first of all, we're going to start off with the wonderful, the very brilliant Josh Carr, who
Yeah.
writes in saying, "Just want to say thank you to you lovely lot. It's been an honor to appear on the show so many times over the years. It's been a joy. And having Jack and Robin on Who Knew was lovely too. I know you'll all get on with doing some new amazing stuff, but hey, we'll always. Oh, hang on. This is a lot harder than it seemed, Jack.
I mean, it is getting a little emotional.
Oh, no, it's got half and then it's okay. But hey, we'll always have the Walking Midnight, won't we? Yes, we will. Yes, we will. Big love to you all. You've been a joy. Just say joy a lot.
Oh,
Oh, it's good.
thanks.
Tugging the
Thank you,
heartstrings.
Josh. Thank you, mate.
Hmm.
Honestly.
Next up, we have a comment from the vacuum of comments themselves.
Yes, good old Ben.
Thank you so much for responding with this podcast has meant a lot to me. In 2022, when I first came on here, promoted my videos, it was the first big impression of the fandom on here. It was the warmest, friendliest, funniest space imaginable, and everything I could hope for. Owe a lot to you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. That really means a lot to hear. Next up, we have a post actually from the internet friend who has sent a picture of the thoughts from an anonymous post saying a couple of points about the episode, including Time Lords can split in two through regeneration. You can just whack a TARDIS with a hammer to clone it. Villains are just straight up gods now all the time. Gallifrey is destroyed, then it's not, then it is. The Doctor is actually a secret magic extra-dimensional baby species pregnator, but it doesn't.
Progenitor.
Oh, regenital.
Progenitor.
Pregenital. Fuck it out. This is difficult. A baby species pregenital, but it doesn't matter. Time Lords can change genders through regeneration willy-nilly. The Doctor regenerates into previous Doctors like it's completely normal. The Doctor regenerates into previous companions like it's completely normal. All of this is handled and introduced with zero weight or care. There are no narrative rules left. There isn't a shred of consistency left. The whole show is now just throwing random wild shit at the wall, hoping something sticks. Or regurgitating old faces and old actors, hoping the sensationalism is somehow a replacement for good TV. If I were a new showrunner asked to take the wheel, I'd only accept if I could get a completely separate canon so I can ignore all the dog shit created in the last few years. It's just too. Now, the latest episode was like a man standing above a trash heap and you're hoping he won't fall into it. But then, Gladdy does a double backflip directly into it. Whew, that's a very, very strong one.
That's a
I will-
review, all right.
And I'll say there's parts of that I don't agree with. You know, the Doctor or Time Lord's able to change genders. I have no issue with that personally. You know, and there's other things that I don't agree with that there. But still, thank you for the comment. You know,
Definitely.
There's one more over on the Hellscape as well. There, Robin, from a friend of the show, amazing actor, voice actor, writer Josh Coy.
Yeah, I was going to say, Josh, it's brilliant having you here as well, and brilliant having your review here with Big 5 out of 10 for me. Parts I loved, parts I hated. Like us. Get on. The Rani was great, as was Wish World Resolution, but Omega was handled worse than Arc of Infinity. Not to mention, we never got a payoff to Susan. The heart and emotions were there. I loved seeing Jodie back. My 2 comfort doctors together. That made me so happy. As for the regeneration, I'm so sad that Shooty's gone already. It felt like we'd only just gotten to know this doctor. And Billy Piper? What's going on with her? I want to find out what's happening, but I'm just annoyed the leaks were true. I now understand why a lot of fans dislike the current run now. We need new blood. We need unknown, new actors for the Doctor. I don't want new actors followed by legacy returns. That being said, I had the best time watching this finale in the cinema, and overall, I adored this season. One of the best we had in a while. If anything, it made me appreciate stories I initially disliked more. It's been a great run, but I'm really unsure on the future. Yeah.
Okay. Well done, Robin. Let's close the hellscape that is Twitter for the last time this series, eh?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Over on Blue Sky now, I have one from Irish Prindell. I spent the first half of the episode at the edge of my seat, the second half of the episode pacing around the room and hyperventilating in happiness. 15 is one of my favorite. I felt this was an amazing send off to his era. 9.5 out of 10. Hey,
Okay.
you know what? I love the positivity. You know, totally.
Same. Need more of it.
Super. Okay. So next one over on YouTube from regular commenter CR Pal Stuck. They first said that was some hot garbage, huh?
well, that changed quickly.
And then they said, I'm sorry that other comment was a bit harsh, but I stand by it. The reality war is essentially RTD's Power of the Doctor, except instead of trying to cram in Dalek, Sudman, and the Master, there's a giant fake CGI Omega that bores the Rani, but I digress. We get action. We get some great scenes of Ruby and the banter between the Ranis and Unit, and the episode becomes about something else. It's now trying to make us care about the Doctor caring about having a made-up wish child. The Doctor now suddenly cares about that more than anything else in the world, and ultimately, I do not care. This is a child that should not exist. That says a grand total of 0 lines in this episode, and is solely a major force in the episode to make Shruti regenerate and to kick Blender off the TARDIS team. It's bizarre watching the Doctor become so obsessed with a child that never existed before, to the point where he literally sacrificed his life to bring the child back. Belinda ends up getting replaced by someone completely different. But hey, Poppy, see you guys, isn't that great? It feels insulting that Susan became a narrative and thematic cul-de-sac that could have been used to parallel the idea of the Doctor does have actual family, but is never ever mentioned. Belinda's character gets replaced by someone who solely views themselves as a mother. Is the episode's point that having kids / a lineage is more important than anything else in life? I guess I like 13 showing up to help 15 working through his regeneration, but to end all of it with him regenerating to Billy Piper? Really, Russell? I'm so checked out of this cynical era of Doctor Who, obsessed with the past, stunts and reveals. Hopefully the gap between this and the next season will give RTD some time to reflect on how bad this vision for the show is. It's either that, or we need to move on to someone not from the good old boys club days of the wilderness years of Doctor Who. That's very well said, that is, personally. I'm going to cut over now. We have a couple videos to play. The first one comes from friend of the show, Reese Dell. I'm going to play that now.
I just wanted to make a quick video to talk about Doctor Who. Because God knows I don't do enough of that. But I wanted to talk about the Doctors in the reality war. I won't talk about the episode itself because my own thoughts and feelings haven't settled, but I wanted to talk about the Doctors because we got not only Ncuti Gatwa but Jodie Whittaker tonight. And that was very special to me, and the Doctor's regeneration was very special to me. for one particular reason, and that is these are the two doctors who have been with me as I've grown. I'll explain. So Jodie was cast as the Doctor when I was in, I want to say year 8, and I was really excited. And Jodie was the Doctor as I grew into an adult. And it was that Doctor that I am so incredibly fond of that helped me to become the man I am. And then she actually regenerated in my first month at university, and moved on. But just as I'd finished my A-levels, Ncuti was announced as the next Doctor. And he's followed me through that journey through university, helping me to come out into the world as good a human as I can be, really, I guess. Solidifying who I am. And the reason that this is also poignant is that I finished university today. I moved home and left for the final time. And I'm beginning a new chapter, entering the world for real. And so to see both of these doctors who have meant quite a lot to me as I have become the person I am today, and who have helped me through these journeys in the last, 8 years. 8 years. And then for them to move on the very same day as I move on was incredibly poignant for me. And that is something I'm very grateful for. I'm really grateful for that. So Jodie and Ncuti, thank you. You have made a young, old Doctor Who fan, someone who has been with this show for a very long time, very happy. Lots of love. Lots and lots of love.
We have one more video as well from friend of the show, the man who plays far too many fan doctors, George Hydra.
Oof. Okay, I just showed up here. Where is Hit? You lot. I see the 80s obsessive. I see the published girlfriend. Grumpy! Hello, best buddy. It's you. Hello. So that's where I am. I'm on the podcasty thing. Am I? I don't know. I think it is something. Awful lot running lot. Hello. Hi. What day is it today? It's. Oh, it's that episode. Right. Yeah. Okay. I know when to pick my timings. Wow. I've sort of just interrupted things here. I don't know what I'm meant to do. Am I meant to give my impression on the episode? No. Let's not talk about the episode for a second. Let's talk about you. Yep, you guys. If this is the last episode, and I'm not giving any spoilers for the future, just, you lot did good. You lot did really, really good. Cool opinions, cool guests, a couple of jokes at my expense, but I'll let them slide. Nice funny little skits, just... You lot did good. You lot did very good. All of you. And for what it's worth, probably one of my favourite podcasts around. So, I probably shouldn't take up too much time. Just, whatever you lot do next, it'll be brilliant. And whatever you do next, Grumpy, I'll probably follow you somewhere. You can't get rid of me. So, well done, you lot. Genuinely, the biggest well done, because you lot deserve it. Just remember, when you sign off for the final time on this podcast, never go in fear. Never. Because you lot were bloody brilliant. Well done, everyone. Right, I better get off because I'm taking up way too much time and I really shouldn't be here. Oh, wait, no, that does remind me, actually. I never answered the question. So, to round this all out, to give you guys some closure for this very last episode, the amount of Hydra doctors there actually are, it's really simple. The actual number is actually something along the lines of...
And Start, I believe we had a couple of comments over on the Instagram as well. If you want to read them out, please.
Yep, very quickly, Reese Dell back again already, saying, look, all I'll say is that seeing Jodie Whittaker had me grinning and I'll be riding that high for days. Oh my god, was a complete waste of time and the regeneration has me reeling, as you were. And we've got another one from Come Along Pond podcast with just gagged and gooped.
Fair enough. Very nice.
I believe it's that email time.
It is email time, and we have plenty of them. So I'm going to try and get through these as best I can, because I know there's a couple of hefty ones in there.
People had some opinions this episode.
Yeah. So first one comes from Lucy. It was just quite a bad episode of the Doctor Who, to be honest. The treatment of the female characters and how quickly it sidelined the main villain of the Rani and Omega, characters people have wanted to return for years, and Omega eats the Rani and gets blasted by a laser, and Belle's character assassination to be retconned into a mother after being saved from a world created by a right-wing grifter where she was a mother. Wait, frankly, I don't particularly trust Russell in paying off Billy as the next Doctor. She deserved so much more, and it just really makes me sad that he's gone. Thank you, Lucy. Next one comes from our favourite fan art guy. It's Jake. Hello, podcasty friends. Season 2 is done, and wow, a lot to unpack. Overall, I holds up Shill Pillow. Enjoyed it. I would be lying if I did not see flaws, but I thought it was a fun viewing experience. I thought it had a really strong start. I love how we brought Anita, how we brought Anita and the Time Hotel in. I thought it came back nicely into the plot. It was the second half where I feel like it gets a bit odd, which I fear could be because of reshoots and changes to the storyline. Words cannot begin to say how devastated I am with Shooty's departure and regeneration. A brilliant Doctor gone too soon. Hello, 13 and Billy Piper. The fandom is really stirring right, and it scares me. Everyone's opinions are valid. It's perfectly fine if you don't like this episode or the era, but it feels like a battlefield. Animals fighting each other. It makes me want to step back. It makes me scared to talk to people. This is not the community I've seen. But no matter what, I've had a blast this season, and I will do my best to hold my head up high for whatever comes next. Much love. Thank you, Jake. And there's some really great sentiments there, which I really agree with as well, in terms of this fans at the minute, but hey ho. Okay, next one comes from Dr. Hugh. Did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it? Dr. Hugh. Yeah. They've sent 3 emails because they've sent their email, a PS, and a PPS. So I'm going to get into this now, and I have checked. We're still under 500 words. We're fine. Okay, so Hugh says, hello, Stonehenge. You need to find a Doctor Who greeting, and I usually say, hello there. I personally did enjoy the episode. To start with, the solution for the cliffhanger was really creative. The scene where 15 takes off his blazer instantly is wearing his outfit from episode 1 was expertly executed. I love how both the Doctor and Belinda fought for their daughter, even though they had hardly known her for longer than a day. The sequence of Unit versus the Bone Beasts was fantastic. 15 flying around on Rani's hovercraft was awesome. And seeing the Doctor full on let his curiosity get the better of him relating to Omega was such a fantastic character choice. I definitely had issues with the episode, namely how Rose disappears from the episode, usually casualty of reshoots, and Ruby doesn't get a goodbye. I think it probably, as much as Jodie's return, I think it probably, as much as Jodie's return was pure Doctor Who perfection, might have been better off the episode to end like it was originally meant to, leaving the series open-ended for potential future return if Futy was able. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I'm a sucker for Gallifrey lore, and we got one step closer to Looms being canon. Looms, baby! So I'm happy right now. Also, the irony of the Irani looking for a gene bank of Time Lords when unwilling progenitors were standing right in front of her was very, very funny. Not that she would know. Oh, last thing. I kind of wish that 15 gave the "one day I shall come back" speech to Poppy when Belinda left the room. It could have implied that Poppy was actually half Time Lord and the Doctor simply lied to Belinda, which could have added complexity to a return for the character if we got one. But that probably wouldn't have been the best addition writing-wise. And I'm really just saying that from the perspective of a fanboy. Anyway, my thoughts of the episode are in flux. I think the majority of it is surrounded by the weird grief stage the entire fandom is in right now, surrounding 15's sudden regeneration and anxiety regarding the future of the show. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Sorry it was half a Bible long. Not at all. Dr. Hugh. P.S. That said, I need to reiterate how much I adore Jodie returning. I'm kind of torn between the original ending and 13's return. It's one of those either-or games, and I generally don't know which button to push, which I guess is a testament to how well Jodie's return was executed. Just felt that needed clarification because Jodie is my favourite Doctor. PPS. Also, the regeneration itself was actually beautiful and really had me in tears. Cheetah's performance and final words were a joy, pun intended. And I think it might be one of my favourite regenerations. Him shining like a star connects back really well to the line he said in Lux about shining. And the Doctor regenerating to save one life is such a brilliant and beautiful and clear understanding of who they are at their core. Someone who would fight for a world with even one more person alive in it. I think the fact I sent 2 more emails shows that my thoughts on this episode are ridiculously extensive. Anyways, thanks again, Hugh. Thank you so much, Hugh. Really lovely thoughts.
What you don't know is there's a PPP.
No, it's but have you two been contacted about the PPI repayments that you are possibly due? We have been trying to contact with you for some time.
I'd say I'd quit, but this is the final episode. So.
And last, and by no means least, probably, and no offense to anyone else here, but certainly my favorite commenter, one of my favorite people in this fandom, someone who I feel so honored to call a friend, Thomas Mad Beach himself. Hello, Jack, Robin, and our surprise Joy to the World cameo star. My anticipation for this episode was simply dread. There were so many unanswered threads, concept arcs, despite the 68-minute runtime. I know in my heart of hearts that I was going to feel some level of disappointment, but not like this. I was just so aghast, sitting in an almost silent cinema screening, witnessing literal cinematic gaslighting by RTD.
Oh.
Wow. An episode that devolved to key jangling and Instagram content hype moments. I was under no surprise that the literal first Insta post from Doctor Who account was going to be shock regeneration and bold impact over Ncuti's final bow. You know, like how Jodie's regeneration was overshadowed by David's face. It's like poetry. It kicks you in the balls and expects you to say thank you.
Oh, I didn't say it this week either. Oh, that's perfect. What way to cap that.
Okay. The episode itself. Loved Anita T. Doorstop returning. Loved her potential from Joy to the World being wasted. Archie Punjabi had a aura despite scenes just standing and spitting exposition again, only to literally get bored on screen. I felt embarrassed. Belinda was gratefully wasted, and just Christ, I felt like a Mac 10 whiplash when her motivation was brought to light through literally deleted scenes again. The reality war is literally between us and Russell, because I'm so tired to back-to-back resolutions resolving around scenes that literally didn't exist, or Russell insisting on things he wrote but never appeared on screen. A la The jukebox push a button scene, but this was a new low. Reducing your steadfast, take no shit companion to mother, not the kind of slay, or not the slay kind, was not it. I literally felt breathless when the doctor scanned Poppy to check she was human again with no consent, and worse, no repercussions. Sheety's doctor has finished his tenure with almost no arc. He's gone backwards, and so that's so gutting. The 15th Doctor does so much more. Fair play to Sheety for taking this in stride. From the filming, we had a whale of a time. For the filming, he had a whale of a time as an artist. And guys being held back or trapped in the role. But it feels like such a slap to the face for 2 years of our time. I hope that doesn't come across as entitled, but if 2 years and out was the plan all along, I think so much more thought should have been put into this era. Everything felt so rushed since Power of the Doctor, and 2 series written and filmed back to back has been so detrimental for the show and the viewing experience. This episode simply left me empty, sat in my cinema seat in my full 15th Doctor cosplay, with less hope for the show's future than ever, despite having Billy's face atop Sheety's glowing shoulders. I would have wished for Conrad to get tested.
Sorry, what?
I would have wished for Conrad to get testicular torsion rather than be happy. Are you fucking real, Ruby? Also, Jodie coming back, literal tears. I miss her so much. 3 out of 10. Lisa Marie's thoughts.
Oh, here we fucking go.
What was that? So many amazing characters, a standing cast with a Disney budget, great lead up with a strong series of episodes, all for it to be spaffed out at the last minute for RTD to bring another bestie to the club. Can we please get some therapy for his mummy issues? Belinda, there's nothing wrong with being a mum or a mum that's a nurse. You have to be so strong to do that. But did he decide to make Belinda Poppy's mum at the last minute? Because there was literally no indication of that being Belinda's motivation. It would have been more realistic for Ruby's biological mother to have been Poppy's mum too, I guess. Anita, another strong female character used as a doorstop. The Rani. I hate that Anita is literally used as a doorstop. Literally used as a doorstop in this. The Rani had her eaten by a CGI Marvel mummy thing of Omega. Having the build up from Wish World and the classic Who homework, I still have no idea who Omega is. Mrs. Flood, the leftover Rani, just bogs off at the first sight of actual trouble, and even Kate doesn't kick ass as much as she usually does. I guess she turns the unit tower with a transformer / Gundam. Based Lisa Marie. Meanwhile, it's the men that save the day. Conrad gets a nice job and a happily ever after. What the hell happened to all the strong female characters this series, Russell? Yes, Space Babies was a great episode, but did Russell really think audiences were that attached to Captain Poppy enough to crowbar into the series finale and have Sheety sacrifice himself over? I will say, I didn't say this episode, but Space Babies sweep! It just doesn't feel the same anymore, does it? Literally 2 episodes ago, the Doctor was cold-hearted enough to zap a terrorist over and over with no emotion. It just doesn't make sense to me. Belinda being Poppy's mum, why then in Wishwell does she not remember Poppy being born, etc.? If we're following Russell's reality, that should have been a huge flag for Belinda's real motivation. I fought in Russell's corner against Thomas's criticisms like this before, but no, there's no saving him. He just can't write a finale to save his life. It's truly time for him to step aside and stop blocking the door. As for the dangling of the Billy Piper carrot, is she the Doctor? Is she not? It's another frustrating question that we're left with. If that's the best thing to keep an audience hooked during a potential hiatus, I have no words. You can picture him at a desk giggling with, "Oh, how marvelous." The best part of the episode for me was absolutely seeing Jodie. Literally the only cheer from the audience in the whole episode, aside from a small gasp for Billy. The visuals were amazing for a cinema screening. I'm heading off to sign every RTD must go petition I can find. I've never given any ratings. I've never given any ratings out of 10. I won't be starting now. Oh, thank you so much. Surprise Pete Beach cameo.
Oh my god.
Wow, what an epic use of the Deus Ex Machina. A magic door opens to save the Doctor. Takes me right back to the days of Buster Crabbe and Flash Gordon serials. Then the Doctor seems more excited at Anita's pregnancy than being saved from a 1,000-mile plummet under a bony balcony. I think if he'd have died then, we could have skipped everything and had Billy right there and then, saving Mr. Davies from coming up with whatever he pulled out of his left ear wax to kill Shooty. How big is Omega? Is it a coincidence that he could only fit his big head through the door? And all I needed to kill this mad god was for the Doctor to grab the flying V, the thing he calls the Vindicator, off the wall and shoot him with a laser beam, going full Bill and Ted Wild Stallions. I did like Mel's. I did like. Here we go. This is what I love. This is what I love. Oh, I'm going to miss this. I did like Mel's moped. I had a Vespa once. It was orange. Sorry, it wasn't orange. It was blue. I really hope she turned it off in the lift. Otherwise, she would have died before hitting the top floor of carbon monoxide poisoning.
Just smash cut sort of Family Guy style sketch to just finding Mel's body in the lift. Just like, oh no.
All in all, I found this episode very Scooby-Doo. I can't get my head around this. Rose was in another dimension thing. Then they left on the beach and the Doctor said he couldn't see her again. Or is this that bad wolf girl cube boxy thing that was bullying John Hurt and the Doctor? My head's spinning. Thoughts out of 10, 7.1. Fair enough, eh?
Yeah. Hey.
Okay.
Respect.
Thomas again. I want to take the time to say that despite the sour finale of the era, I won't let it taint what has been an incredible journey listening and participating with the three of you on an awful lot of running. I say with no hyperbole, this podcast has been the very light of many days and nights. From Battles of Fandom to the Mean Potential to your passion and love for Doctor Who, you've been the very highest standard of the fandom. I'm so proud to have been such a part of this. I loved every minute of this podcast, and I won't forget one-line lists, I swear. As this has been the blossomest blossom of Doctor Who podcasts. And I want to see what happens next. Go out with a smile, the three of you. Happy times and places. Thomas Mad Beach, Lisa Marie, God of Death, and Pete Ramble Until the End Beach. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everyone, thank you so much for all the support and wonderful responses we've had this week. It's for the podcast and just for, for everything. Thank you so much, everyone. And, although this chapter is ending, who knows what might happen in the future. I tell you what, let's end where we always end, over on this. I was about to say Space Time Telegraph again. I'm forgetting the format of the show because it's the last one. Let's go on over to our juicy nugget, our Cannon Buster. Okay. So the Cannon Buster I've gone for this week. I literally just typed the word podcast into the TARDIS wiki, and I'm going to go through all the references to podcasts in Doctor Who that have appeared so far. So we have the 12th Doctor presenting an episode of the Pupil of St. Luke's podcast when he was a lecturer at St. Luke's University. He presented the episode called The Monster at the End of the Podcast Carter. That was in Jed Media, which is a Big Finish short trip. Hidden Human History was a podcast hosted by Bethany Brunwyn about famous serial killers and obscure wars. It had an episode covering the I'm not sure that is Gydra. It's not Gydra. It's the Galadas Wars of the early 1500s, Khalid Rebellion in the 1711, and the Battle of Bridgewater in the 1860s. Grace O'Brien introduced it to her husband and grandson. Yasmin Khan learned about it from a friend at work, and members of the Time Agency also listened to the podcast. And they all learned that the 13th Doctor was connected to those historical events through that podcast. Funny, huh?
Yeah. Oh, very wild.
Next one is Cardiff Unknown, was a weekly podcast hosted by Jeff Morris and Neve about strange occurrences in Cardiff, Wales. Their October 2018 episode discussed Torchwood, Room 111, The Red Doors, Cardiff Bay Intelligence Hotel and Spa, and Flight 405. They also interviewed Brent Hayden, the host of Tomorrow's Truth podcast. And this is from a audio Cardiff Unknown which came from Big Finish apparently as well. So yeah,
Hmm.
interesting. I'm not familiar with this one, but yeah, it's very cool. Okay, and next one, anyone that is a fan of Doctor Who Redacted will know this one. The Blue Box Files was a podcast which covered conspiracy theories concerning the Doctor's TARDIS, as well as supernatural topics. It was hosted by the GOAT, Cleo Proctor, Abby McThrall, and Shauna Thompson, with a conversational format. Please go listen to Redacted. It's so good. The best Rani Chandra, hosted a podcast in 2023 called Rani Takes on the World. There's 2 box sets for that, and they're very good. And then lastly, of course, we have Lucky Day, was a weekly podcast series hosted by professional shitbag Conrad Clark. So yeah.
Wow.
And I suppose on that note, it's time to end the podcast. And I don't just mean this podcast, I mean this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for responses, and thank you, Robin, for being here for the past 4 years, Star for being here as long as you have, and taking over the editing role as well. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you there for being for us. I've been Jack.
I've been Robin.
I've been Star.
This has been an awful lot of running, and it is a long time for us to get home. And to get home, we're going to take the long way round. And that is going to require an awful...
Believe me, my dears, your future lies with other Doctor Who podcasts, and not with silly old buffers like Jack.
Hey!
One day, we shall come back. Yes, we shall come back. Until then, there must be no regrets, no tears, no anxieties. Just go forward in all your beliefs and prove to us that you are not mistaken in...
I don't suppose there's a need for an editor anymore. Make me a host now.
I took the liberty of preparing this one myself.
Get out! Get out! All of you. Will it hurt?
Yes.
Good. Thomas, Catnat, Lisa Marie, Jack, Robin. Friends, companions I've known, I salute you. And Cass, I apologize. Podcaster, heal thyself.
It's the end. But the moment has been prepared for.
Hold the phone. If the pod's ending, who do I send my fee to?
There are worlds out there where the sky is burning, and the seas asleep, and the rivers dream. People are made of smoke, the city's made of song. Somewhere there's danger, somewhere there's injustice. And somewhere else, someone's bored and wants to listen to another Doctor Who podcast. Come on, Robin, Star, Tilly, we've got work to do.
And if you've enjoyed an awful lot of running a Doctor Who podcast, worry not, as Jack, Robin, and the rest of the team will return to you all very soon.
If you're listening now, we're sorry for the deception. We may have gone a bit hard on it, but we felt with season 2 ending for Doctor Who, we want to go somewhere with this podcast. We want to take an opportunity to retool a bit, and we will be coming back very soon for the first time in 4 years, a new season of the podcast. We're officially starting the season 2 of An Awful Lot of Running, and we can't wait to bring it to you very soon. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Also, again, really, really sorry.
It was very harsh.
Faces.
Yeah.
What I will say is, having so many responses, not just there, but also in DMs and stuff from people, seeing sort of the spread of the podcast and how much it means to people when I don't think we really realized it ourselves, how much it means to people.
No.
It's been very, very heartening. So again, we're so sorry, but we really hope that you can enjoy what happens as we go forward too, as we enter season 2 of An Awful Lot of Running. Ta-ra for now.
If you've enjoyed An Awful Lot of Running, please consider subscribing, sharing, or writing a review. It really does help us out an awful lot.
Who wrote this twaddle?